everyone, here we are at the Lausitzring. It is halftime in the DTM season 2023 and we're psyched to be here at the Lausitzring. It's definitely going to be a hot race weekend, that is for sure, and we're very much looking forward to it. So far it's been so crazy in this year, especially because every race weekend we had different winners, but one is especially strong. Thomas Preining, the leader of the championship.
The DTM 2023, stronger than ever before. 8 different winners from only 8 rounds of the season. That's never happened before in the 30-plus year history of the series. And yet one in particular stands out from the evenly matched field of drivers, Thomas Preining. The Austrian scores more consistently than anyone in his second DTM year and leads the overall standings at the halfway point of the season with a 28-point advantage.
For sure it's nice in such a strong and competitive and super tight, compact field to be at the top and among the top 5 at least at all times.
Even last year, all eyes were on Preining, because with his victory at the Lausitzring, he secured the first ever Porsche victory in the history of the German racing series. Now the 25-year-old is well on his way to adding another chapter to this story, with the first championship title for the Zuffenhausen-based powerhouse.
Winning the title would be a dream, of course, a dream come true. It's already a dream come true, even competing in DTM. I used to watch it as a kid, you know, really celebrating this super important championship, especially in the German-speaking area. This is huge.
To get as close as possible to this dream, he thinks and lives motorsport 100%, even in his spare time.
I think my race engineer can also prove it. It doesn't matter if I'm home or on holidays or whatever, I call him at least once a day with new ideas and new things I would like to try, and how can we improve this, is there maybe potential, and he's also fully committed, and you know, everybody has a personal life, they all have wives or kids or whatever, but they are still putting every minute they can into this project, which just makes me really proud to work with them, and I hope it will work until the end of the season.
His great talent shone early on in Formula racing. The career path to the top was actually clearly defined, but the high level of financing required slowed him down. The jump to GT racing cars followed, with success. In 2018, the Works driver won the Porsche Carrera Cup.
I got invited to the Porsche Junior Shootout, which I managed to win, luckily. I just kept walking this road with Porsche. I managed to build at least the beginning of my career with them, and be with the manufacturer, be integrated there. This is super nice.
And now Preining has arrived in the DTM with a good chance to repeat his championship feat of 5 years ago. The Linz native can take the next big step in that direction in rounds 9 and 10 at the Lausitzring.
I'm always positive, I believe in my team, and in the end I think we are competitive in some areas of the track, and in the race we just need to make sure we play our strengths correctly and hopefully gain some positions.
So the second half of the season kicks off at the Lausitzring, using the 3.5-kilometre long version of the circuit, using parts of the tri-oval and a tight, twisty infield. At turn 1, it really is a pinch point, as we saw in 2004. They go down from 250 to just 55 kilometres an hour. There's always spectacular action here. 5 years ago, René Rast tipped over in his Audi, but he would win 2 races in 2020. Then we had the closest ever finish in the history of the DTM, when Rast won by just 89 thousandths of a second from Nico Müller. We are to the east of Germany, situated about 60 kilometres from Dresden. And as ever here at the Lausitzring, it is searingly hot, 30 degrees with a track temperature of over 40 degrees. Who will win this year's DTM crown? Who knows? So far this season, 8 races, 8 different winners. Lucas Auer has thrown himself into the championship fight of late with a pair of podium finishes last time out at the Nürburgring. He gets his best qualifying of the year here in 3rd spot. Mirko Bortolotti qualifies 2nd, and with the points he got in qualifying, he's now moved up to 2nd place in the championship. He was beaten to pole position by just 54 thousandths of a second. Jack Aitken starting on pole for the first time.
It's going to be very hot, so is heat like the main concern you have? I mean, starting in pole position obviously is the best.
Yeah, for sure it's the best, but it's, as you say, it's very hot. A bit of a problem for the drivers, but more a problem for the tyres probably. I think it's going to be really hard today to manage everything, and we have to be careful not to use all the tyre early in the stint, but we do our best. I think we have a good race car, so we'll fight for the win.
So Jack Aitken becomes the 8th different pole sitter of the year, just pipping Mirko Bortolotti to the top spot. Luca Sauer and Kelvin van der Linde on road 2, though, were both within 83 thousandths of a second of the pole time. Ricardo Feller and Sheldon van der Linde have both been race winners and are both championship contenders. Thierry Vermeulen in the second Ferrari with his best qualifying of the year. Clement Schmidt on his birthday weekend is alongside, and then it's Lucas Stoltz and Maximilian Powell, winner at the Nürburgring, to complete the top 10. René Rast and Marco Wittmann, with 5 championship titles between them, are on row 6. Frank Pereira, a race winner at Oschersleben, and Luca Engstler are next up, 13th and 14th. On row 8 is Josef Vega, and then 16th on the grid for the championship leader, Thomas Preining. Lauren Heinrich off the back of his first podium at the Nürburgring, and Dennis Olsen are next, with Maro Engel looking to maintain his record of being in the points in every race, and Ayen Nguyen starting in 20th. David Schumacher and Arjun Maidi are next up on the 11th row of the grid, with teammates Patrick Niederhauser and Matthias Drudy next up, starting 23rd and 24th. Row 13, Marvin Dienst coming in for his second ever DTM weekend. He's now with Top Sport WRT and replacing Christian Engelhardt for the rest of the season. 28 cars then about to go racing as the Start Your Engines board is held aloft. The crowd's trying to stay out of the sunshine here. We're about to get the second half of the season underway. Chris Hartley here trackside to talk you through all the action. Ferrari versus Lamborghini on the front row of the grid, and it's the perfect start here for Jack Aitken on this run down towards this very tight first corner as they turn off the tri-oval. Down to first gear they go. It's Jack Aitken in the lead of the race. In second place, Mirko Bortolotti. Lucas Sauer had to think about it up the inside, but he remains in third place in the Mercedes. Tim Heinemann trying to come from near the back of the field, has a view of all these cars working their way through this sequence of second gear corners. We've got some drama in the midfield as well. 2 cars off in the gravel. One of them is Luca Engstler, and I think the other one was Frank Pereira in the Lamborghini. So Luca already, his race looks like it's run, and yes, it was Frank Pereira in the SSR Performance Lamborghini. He's carrying damage as well. So those cars in strife already in this 60-minute plus 1 lap race. But the perfect start for Jack Aitken, showing a clean pair of heels to Mirko Bortolotti. Lucas Sauer third, Kelvin van der Linde in 4th place, looking for his first podium of the season. And then Ricardo Feller and Sheldon van der Linde are next up, with Luca Engstler there, stranded, the Audi in the gravel trap. The safety car is going to be deployed. Frank Pereira, I'm afraid, also on his way back to the pits with damage to the front of his car. Let's get a replay and have a look at exactly what happened then. It was all on the run through turns 2, 3 and 4 that it all had a pinch point. On board with Thomas Preining trying to get involved and move his way up from 16th on the grid. There is Pereira to his left. He's just in front. Marco Wittmann just in front of the BMW. There's a bit of contact. Preining gets up the inside. There's a third. There is Luca Engstler's car to the left of the picture, spinning off into the gravel track. So Preining was involved in that as well. He was on the inside. Let's take a look. Left-hand side of the picture. Look out for the number 91 Porsche, bright yellow and green. And there is the contact. It was between Preining and Pereira, and on the outside of it all, taking the brunt of the force, was the Audi of Luca Engstler. So that ends his race after picking up his best finish so far in his first season of DTM. And Frank Pereira also out of the running early doors. So the safety car immediately bunches everybody up and will bring them down to a slow pace whilst the incident is being sorted out down on that infield. So Jack Aitken leading them around, and when we get the restart underway, he'll be looking to get on that gas and pull away from Mirko Bortolotti at the earliest opportunity. Lucas Sauer looking for his 3rd straight podium. Will be menacing though, just behind the Mercedes. Here we go then, the restart, and the Ferrari leads the Lamborghini. A penalty lap for Maro Engel, so that's going to drop him out of the points in the Mercedes. He'll have to go through that penalty box on the exit to turn 5. It will cost him at 50 kilometres an hour, about 5 seconds as we get back up to speed in the race. Oh, look at this, Thomas Preining, the championship leader, is going to have to go through the penalty box 3 times for causing that incident, the stewards have decided.
start was actually quite good, and then we were just 3 wide at a place where there's only 2 cars that can fit. In the end, I didn't know there's a 3rd car. You cannot see it from inside the cockpit, and obviously I'm sorry to the competitor.
We got penalty lap, 3 times penalty lap. We keep our head down, we do the first one now.
Well, that is absolute heartbreak for Thomas Preining. He's already trying to come from 16th on the grid. It's the second time he's qualified back on the 8th row of the grid. He has been the best qualifier on average, and he'd actually made a pretty good start. He got himself up to 11th place, but running through the penalty box 3 times will drop him right to the back of the field now. He's got to try somehow to keep his cool, get into the top 15, and try to get some points. But with Mirko Bortolotti now 27 points adrift after picking up 2 points for qualifying and running 2nd in the race, his championship lead could be down to just single figures at the end of this race. So Aitken leads, Bortolotti is there in 2nd, 3rd is Auer, 4th is Kelvin van der Linde, 5th Sheldon van der Linde. Split battles going on a bit further back as well. Thierry Vermeulen in the 2nd of the Emile Frey Racing Ferraris. I think his best run here, the teenager continuing to impress his first season of DTM. Doesn't have all that much race experience or previous karting experience before getting to this stage, but he is doing a really good job, the Dutch driver. Look at this, Marco Wittmann about to lunge up the inside of Clement Schmidt and take a position away from him. So Marco gets himself up into the top 10 with that move, and his next target will be to get on terms with the Blue Schubert Motorsports BMW of the 3-time champion, running just ahead of him, René Rast, who is in his 99th DTM race here. So Marco Wittmann and René Rast both qualifying on the 6th row of the grid. Now starting to inch their way up through the field. At the head of the field, Jack Aitken continuing to build his advantage in this race. It's a long, tough race. It's all about traction at this circuit. There are a lot of slow corners. That sequence, after they come off the tri-oval, in turns 2, 3, 4 and 5, all running 2nd gear. Slow corners, 500 plus brake horsepower, energised into the rear Pirelli tyres. And the brakes will get hot here as well. A couple of big braking zones like this at turn 1, and Tim Heinemann braking himself there, almost running into the back of Lauren Heinrich. Here's a replay. That was close, and it was only the lightning reactions of Tim Heinemann, the double DTM trophy champion, that meant he avoided going into the back of the Porsche ahead.
Copy, can you confirm you have no brakes? Copy.
That kind of explains it. So the race engineer for Tim Heinemann on the radio confirming brakes are a problem, and that was why Tim Heinemann almost had that big crash. Right, the pit window is open, and the first of the front runners to come in is Kelvin van der Linde. It was almost a race winner here in 2021. He led comfortably with about 6 or 7 laps to go. His engine suddenly cut out, an electronics problem. He reset it after coasting for a while, but he dropped ultimately down to 3rd place. It's a circuit where he hasn't had much luck, and this season Kelvin has been really quick in every session almost. Has just had no luck. He's had a couple of top 6 finishes, but no podiums. But this looks good. The AMP Sportsline team are slick. It's a long pit in and pit out here. It takes about 45 seconds or so to get your pit stop done. But the good pit stop in terms of the actual changing of the tyres can be done in less than 6 seconds. Marco Wittmann in as well. Ajin Guen in one of the 2 Team 75 Bernhard Porsches. Lauren Heinrich in the other one. Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland champion. So the Turkish driver heads back out, but Tim Heinemann's race is run. We heard about his braking issues, and I'm afraid he's going to be the latest to retire from the race. A great start to the season with 2 podiums in the opening weekend at Oschersleben. He had the championship lead at the start of the year, but unfortunately things have not gone according to plan since. Right, we've got 1st and 3rd making their pit stops now. Jack Aitken comes in, Lucas Auer behind. You've also got Lucas Stoltz coming in as well. He's made pretty good progress in this race. And this is a relatively early stop. The pit window's the middle 20 minutes of the race. I'll change all 4 Pirelli tyres, rears first, then front. Only half a dozen team members can work on the car. Have to stick to the pit lane speed limit. So Emile Frey putting brand new stickered tyres on there. You get 3 sets of new Pirellis in terms of slick tyres to run this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. That's got to last 2 qualifying sessions and 2 races. So that explains why Jack came in pretty early. He had a slightly used set to start with, and now he's got the best set on, which he wants to use for the longest possible time. So he goes out, even in these searingly hot temperatures. It will still take half a lap or so to get the tyres up to temperature. So Aitken goes out, Auer goes out, and there, having already made his pit stop, looming in the mirrors, is Kelvin van der Linde. So this is for a net podium position here if Kelvin can find a way past Lucas Auer. They were 3rd and 4th respectively before the pit stops. Lucas is going to try and defend on the way into turn 6 as they turn off the tri-oval, but whipping around the outside of him is Kelvin van der Linde to get the place. Lucas Auer made life hard. He's a tough driver, Lucas Auer. He fights for everything, but he's also a very fair driver. And it was a good move in the end from Kelvin van der Linde to be able to find his way past. Now, Mirko Bortolotti, Sheldon van der Linde and Ricardo Feller all in. And Feller looked much closer to the back of the number 1 BMW than he was a couple of laps ago. So he's had a good in-lap, Ricardo Feller, and he's very much in the mix here. The driver sitting in 4th place in the championship. This is the driver sitting 2nd in the championship. Mirko Bortolotti finally got his first ever win of the DTM. Last time out at the Nürburgring on the Saturday. I say finally, it's only his 2nd season in DTM. However, he's had lots of close calls, but the Italian goes back out now. SSR Performance, who ran Porsches last year in the championship, now running Lamborghinis. Mirko with them for the first time, and oh, look at that. Just staying ahead in the battle between the BMW and the Audi is Sheldon van der Linde, the reigning champion, 3rd in the points versus 4th in the points, just ahead of Ricardo Feller, and they're about to be swamped by none other than Lucas Auer. Kelvin van der Linde is already in front of the pair of them. Lucas Auer wants to dispatch these cars on their cold tyres very quickly indeed. That's what he's already done to Ricardo Feller coming through turn 5. He's going to try to do the same now to Sheldon van der Linde, and he's going to have to go around the outside, a bit like Kelvin did to him on the previous lap, which he might just do. He's going to have the inside line for turn 7. And the Mercedes gets through, just behind as well. Another Mercedes going well in this race is Lucas Stolz. And only 1 podium this season. He's just got ahead of Ricardo Feller, who's run out of tyres, run out of road, and puts a couple of wheels through the gravel trap on the exit to turn 7 on his cold tyres. So a couple of key moves during this pit stop period. Jack Aitken leads proceedings effectively. He's the first of the pit stoppers from Bortolotti, and then Kelvin van der Linde now having a go at Mirko Bortolotti to try and find his way through. A little bit of contact there between the Lamborghini and the Audi. Kelvin van der Linde trying to carry the speed as they come out through turn 12, accelerate up to 250 kilometers an hour, which is about 162 miles an hour, up to 5th gear. And then they're going to stand on the brakes on the way down into turn 1. Is Kelvin close enough? Not quite. Mirko Bortolotti just about fends him off. But a fearsome battle brewing now between these 2 drivers. Let's get some team radio from Mirko Bortolotti in the Lamborghini, battling for his life here for 2nd place.
What the fuck? Did you not do that?
Mirko Bortolotti, I think it's fair to say, not best pleased with the advances of Kelvin van der Linde. Kelvin really is pushing things here to try and find a way through. He's out of the top 10 in the championship, Kelvin van der Linde. It's only 2 years ago that he very nearly won the title in his first season. Since then, he had 1 podium, just 1 podium at the Nürburgring last year. Here's a replay on board with Kelvin van der Linde, and he was nipping at the heels of the Lamborghini and Mirko Bortolotti. 2 hugely quick, hugely competitive drivers going into battle here. And Mirko Bortolotti getting a bit wound up by that. Kelvin van der Linde not only trying to get his first podium, but effectively kind of helping his teammate out, or trying to, because Ricardo Feller is going for the championship title. And of course his brother, albeit in a different car and a different team, Sheldon van der Linde, is also going for the championship title. So he could do both of them a massive favour if he could have got ahead of Bortolotti there. Bortolotti started to pull away from the Audi now, just for a lap or so. Take a bit of time out of the race leader, Jack Aitken. Now this is Thomas Preining trying to get himself into some points here. He's worked his way up to 17th place. He's on the back of Marvin Dietz. They're both onto the tail now of Maximilian Powell in the Lamborghini as they go hurtling onto the start-finish straight.
Okay, Marvin, you're clear to attack to the front. Okay, you're clear to attack to the front. No danger from behind.
Not sure about that, because here comes Thomas Preining diving down the inside. Right, that's one done at 16th place. He's got to get 15th to get a championship point. Thomas Preining now onto the back of Maximilian Paul, who is struggling inside that car. Now he's got 20 kilograms of success ballast to carry as the winner of the last race at the Nürburgring. Maximilian Paul, this is his home race. He comes from Dresden, and this is his second weekend in DTM. He probably won't be with us for the rest of the season because he is concentrating on the GT Open Championship, but he's been a very welcome addition for the last 2 weekends. He's got to work hard here, though, to get a point for Grasso Racing. Trying to go all the way around the outside of him is Thomas Preining. Utter commitment from the Austrian driver. That carries the momentum through to the inside for the next turn, and through he goes. All of that for one championship point, but the way this season is going, one championship point might just be the difference between being the champion and not. There is Marvin Dinks to the right of the picture in the top sport. Porsche as they go side by side now on the way into the left-hander at turn 8. Oh, and they both go off. Maximilian Paul into the gravel, through the gravel, and on the grass goes the Porsche of Marvin Dinks. They both lose 2 places, and they are both now definitely out of the running for championship points as we go into the final stages of the race. Well, let's get a replay of that. Paul in the Lamborghini on the inside, no room for him or the Porsche to go through together. Major Guen and Sandra Holtzen both just diving up the inside, trying to carry the momentum around the outside because he knew a right-hander was coming up Marvin Dietz, but the room never quite materialised. The gravel trap was imminent. So a rough ride there, as you can see from the rear-facing camera. They both carried on. They've lost 2 places each and an awful lot of time. Right, we're into the closing few minutes of the race. Jack Aitken leading. This could be 9 races, 9 different winners of the season. Last year, 2022, we thought that was exceptional. We had 11 different winners across the season from 16 rounds of the championship, but we're only just into the second half of this season, and we could potentially be already on for 9 different winners. Jack Aitken has just controlled the pace here at the front of the field. Mirko Bortolotti, every time he's got a bit closer, Jack Aitken has been able to respond. It has been quite the day for Emil Frey Racing and for Jack Aitken. They are going to come home to take the checkered flag and win round 9 of DTM 2023.
Mate, well done. Great job. P1. DTM winner. Mr. Aitken, you're a DTM winner. Well done.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Fuck, that was hard. Well done. That was a mega car for you. Thank you.
So Jack Aitken becomes the first British winner in DTM for 4 years since Jamie Green in 2019. And what a way to do it. Really hot, tough conditions for all the drivers. Jack Aitken, a winner in the DTM. This is only, remember, his 4th weekend in DTM. He's already been a winner of the Sebring 12 Hours in the Inter Sports Car Championship. That's another great victory for the former Formula 1 driver. Mirko Bortolotti second, and at last, Kelvin van der Linde gets onto the podium.
Yeah, I was hoping Mirko would get his tyres up to temperature a bit slower. He did a good job at getting them up to temperature, so I tried to be aggressive when I knew he was weak, and yeah, when I couldn't get past, I knew the Ferrari and the Lambo were very strong today, so we just tried to hold on for P3 and bring it home.
Well, Mirko Bortolotti gave it everything. It really pushed the car. Second place was all he could muster, but it's a big second place to get him to within 8 points of the championship leader, Thomas Preining, who had a bad day at the office.
Pushed everything from the first lap until the finish line, and yeah, there's not more in it, so really happy.
A fantastic performance then from Jack Aitken. He has worked hard. He's boiling hot. He doesn't care.
I love it. It was such a hard one, but in the end we didn't make any mistakes. The team did a mega strategy. Pace was good. I'm completely finished now. I go to bed. I'm tired.
Tough conditions. Jack Aitken, after 44 laps, wins the race by 2.3 seconds from Mirko Bortolotti. Kelvin van der Linde comes home third. Lucas Auer in 4th place, just missing out on a 3rd consecutive podium. Sheldon van der Linde and Lucas Stoltz 5th and 6th, and then Feller, Rast, Vermeulen and Wittmann rounding out the top 10 in the first race of the weekend. Clement Schmidt In 11th place, Dennis Alton 12th, Maro Engel 13th, Yusuf Avega in 14th, and crucially, Thomas Preining in 15th place are the other points finishers in the first race of the weekend. But lots of retirements and lots of hard luck stories, with the most amount of retirements that we've had so far in any of the races during the 2023 season. Time now, though, for the celebrations. Jack Aitken gets his first win in the DTM. Emil Frey Racing get their first DTM victory. And also, it's the first win in this season for Ferrari. So now all 6 brands have taken one race win or more in what has been the most incredible of seasons. And it only looks set to get even more competitive as we go into the second half of the year. But still work to be done here at the Lausitzring with another qualifying session and another race to come.
What an exciting first race, and in fact now we've got 9 different winners in 9 different races. How exciting is that? That's a DTM season 2023. For this young man, unfortunately, Arjun Maini, it didn't work out as well. He didn't complete the race, but in the past he's shown quite some potential.
This is his 3rd year in the DTM, and he has long since proven his skills in the fast racing series that is so popular around the world.
I love racing cars, and I've been racing, a long time now. So yeah, I think a lot of me is the racing side. Of course, I'd like to think of myself as a nice guy, but competitive, respectful, and yeah, very grateful for the opportunities that I have in my life.
In the DTM, he drives for the Mercedes-AMG team HRT. He has also competed successfully in endurance racing and in the ADAC GT Masters. His talent cannot be overlooked. In the DTM, he's also striving to be among the front runners, pushing himself to improve from race to race with the clear goal of a place on the podium.
Yeah, so I come from a racing family. I used to watch my father race when I was really young, to follow him in the racetrack in India, and I think I caught the bug really early, and of course I got into kart racing, and I started karting when I was 5, started kart racing 8, and then of course I moved to Formula cars quite young at 15. And I think my brother got in because of me. So yeah, we have a whole family of racing drivers, which is really cool, because also in the winter when we are together, we keep training together and we push each other in every aspect. So it's really cool thing to have a brother or a family that you can not only discuss, or people that understand you, but even train to get even better together with. So it's a really cool thing to have, and I'm grateful for that.
His colors, blue and yellow. His motivation, unrivaled. The 25-year-old Indian in the fast, exciting DTM. A name to remember, a name certain to shine even brighter, Arjun Maini.
Day 2 at the Lausitzring, and after a red flag in qualifying, a curtailed session with only 5 minutes of action, with Mirko Bortolotti coming out on top to take pole position from Ricardo Feller, Clement Schmidt and Franck Pereira, 2 Lamborghinis on the second row. Championship leader Thomas Preining going better than yesterday. He qualifies 5th ahead of Lukas Stoltz in 6th. David Schumacher with his second best qualifying starts 7th ahead of Lucas Auer. Next up, it's the Ferraris of Thierry Vermeulen and race 1 winner Jack Aitken. Marvin Dietz starts 11th, Dennis Olsen in 12th place, that's the 6th row of the grid. Kelvin van der Linde down in 13th place after his podium yesterday. Maximilian Powell starts 14th, and then René Rast back in 15th place. The 3-time champion Yusuf Avega starts next. Then Ayenjan Nguyen and Lauren Heinrich are on row 9. Row 10, Arjun Maini and Luca Engsler. And then on the 11th row of the grid, we've got Sheldon van der Linde and Marco Wittmann with work to do in their BMWs. Maro Engel and Tim Heinemann next up. Maro Engel looking to maintain his record of finishing in the points in every race. Patrick Niederhauser and Sandro Holzem are on the penultimate row of the grid. Next up then on the final row, Matteo Drudi and Alessio De Leda, who brought out the red flags in that qualifying session. It's going to be another hot one, close to 30 degrees the air temperature here, and the drivers with another 60 minutes plus 1 lap of racing here at the Lausitzring. So Riccardo Feller will start second on the grid. He's one of only 2 drivers to get 2 pole positions so far this year. The other one is your pole sitter, Mirko Bortolotti.
For sure, qualifying went really well this morning. It was really important for us to have a good one. So I'm really happy with the result and how it played out, and that we managed to have a good, relatively, let's say, good lap to put it on pole.
So Clement Schmidt qualifying third. He's had a 5th place finish this year. It's his 2nd season of DTM, and the Austrian is looking for his maiden podium in the championship. The Start Your Engines board is held aloft. We're about to go into battle once again. The championship advantage for Thomas Preining after qualifying this morning, with 3 points for pole going to Mirko Bortolotti. The gap is now down to just 5 championship points, and there are 25 points up for grabs for today's race winner. SSR Performance then with their man on pole position as we go racing for the 2nd time this weekend. Mirko Bortolotti to the right of your picture, to the left the blue Audi for AB Sportsline of Riccardo Feller. Look at Clement Schmidt having a look here for 2nd place from the 2nd row of the grid as they go into the right hander at turn 2, but Riccardo Feller just about holds on to that position. And then in 4th place it's from Pereira. 5th place, a real battle going on already between the Mercedes of Lukas Stolz and the championship leader Thomas Preining in the yellow and green Porsche. On board with Kelvin van der Linde in the heat of the battle from near the middle of the pack, battling away with the Ferrari of Thierry Vermeulen. Over that big bump on the way into turn 6 goes the race leader Mirko Bortolotti. Lukas Stolz didn't quite find a way past Thomas Preining through that first sequence of corners. So Preining remaining in 5th place, then it is Stolz, and a really good start for Jack Aitken, who qualified 11th, was promoted to 10th with a 3-place grid penalty for Maximilian Powell, and is now already up into 7th place. Yesterday's winner looking here to get up the inside of the Lukas Stolz HRT, bright yellow Mercedes, but no way through, and the British driver in the Ferrari remains in 7th place with Dennis Olsen and Lucas Auer for company, then followed by David Schumacher, who's lost a few places on this first lap of the race in his Mercedes. Weave their way then through this first lap of the race. Incredibly tough conditions once again for the drivers, who will endure temperatures of up to 60 degrees inside the cockpits of their cars. And look at this, 3 abreast here now. Got Marvin Deemst up on the inside. Rennie Rast is involved in the middle. He's with the onboard camera. To the right of the picture is the young Dutch driver Thierry Vermeulen, who's really impressed this weekend in the Ferrari. Dennis Olsen has just got up the inside of Jack Aitken to snatch 7th place from him on the way into turn 1. So the bright green Manthey EMA Porsche gains a place. The other Ferrari there you're looking back at is Thierry Vermeulen, and Rennie Rast and Thierry have both just made their way past Argentini's blue and yellow Mercedes, but the Indian driver trying to fight back now. Great shots here as they all run together on the exit to turn 5, get very close to the wall, run onto this tri-oval, and then make their way into turn 6 where they slow down from 180 to about 80 kilometres an hour. Through there they go, downhill. They're on to the next sequence of corners. Look at this, Vermeulen and Meining contact between them. Meining sent out a little bit wide there, but just about holding on to the car. So some ferocious battles out there at the in the middle of the field. Somebody kicking up the dust coming out of turn 7 as they go to the left-hander at turn 8 at the end of the 2nd sector. The number 99 Porsche of Marvin Deemst in that battle. He qualified 2nd. Right, a replay of the start on board with Rennie Rast. This is his 100th DTM race. But BMW driver away down the grid. A terrific start though, wasn't it, from Rennie? Diving up the inside of 1, 2, 3, 4 cars and almost getting a 5th as he went side by side with David Schumacher. Some team radio from Riccardo Feller.
Go faster in clean air.
90, yes, 210 maybe. He's dropping now a bit.
Copy.
So Riccardo Feller's AB Sportsline engineer on the radio to the Swiss driver in 2nd place, a 2-time winner in the DTM. Go quicker in clean air, but also then Riccardo saying, I reckon Mirko Bortolotti is going a bit slower, and he's certainly on the case now. of the driver second in the championship. Ricciardo himself, a championship contender. He's 4th in the points coming into this race. So they run nose to tail. 3rd place, looking for his first podium in the championship, is Clement Schmidt, the Grasser Racing team. Thomas Biermeier and Martin Tomczyk, the team at AB Sportsline, watch on from a very hot pit wall. They will Ricciardo Fella onto his 2nd race win of the season. Right, this is the battle for 3rd place. Clement Schmidt, Franck Pereira, being caught now by Thomas Preining, the championship leader in the Porsche after all his dilemmas and dramas and all those penalties in race 1. So they're coming up towards the end of the lap now. The pit window is open. Oh, there's a coming together there from Pereira, coming together with Clement Schmidt, 3rd and 4th, and whipping past the pair of them has gone Thomas Preining from 5th to 3rd. Oh, that's a real shame for Clement Schmidt, because he was going well in 3rd place. Gets back onto the track after a trip across the grass, but I wonder if he's got any damage to the back of that Lamborghini. Franck Pereira had bought into the pits as well, so he's gone into the pits. The pit window is open, about half of the field coming in. Let's get a replay. Bit of a strange one, this, on the way into turn 10. It's not an overtaking spot. I don't think Frank was even trying to overtake. He was the car length back here. Let's have a look at the impact as he goes past on the brakes and into the back of Clement Schmidt.
What was Frank doing? We saw it, keep calm, we saw it. No, how should I keep calm? We are being free and we get crashed out. Then, how? Help me!
Massive frustration, as you can understand, from Clement Schmidt and also the team down at Grasser Racing, who had that tremendous race win with Maximilian Paul at the Nürburgring last time out. A lot of damage to the front of Franck Pereira's number 94 Lamborghini as well, and a real opportunity lost for the French driver and for the Austrian. And of course, some big points lost here in the Manufacturers' Championship standings for Lamborghini.
Frank, can you just explain to us quickly what exactly happened? Did you have an issue with the brakes, or what happened?
No, he braked too early, and there was nothing. I was going to brake, you know. There was nothing to do. He was waiting, and also he moved over the line. So, you know, at that speed, if you suddenly move and brake, it's complicated.
So Clement Schmidt back in the pit lane. There he is with his helmet on, straight into a discussion with Franck Pereira. And each driver has their own opinion of whose fault it was. Franck Pereira saying Clements braked too late. I don't think Clements believes that to be the case. Right, pit window open, and the first 3 are all coming into the pits at the same time. Mirko Bortolotti, Ricciardo Fella and Thomas Preining. So a race now between the pit crews. If you can do a pit stop in under 6 seconds, you are doing a mighty fine job. We've seen some 5.7 second stops already this season. They've got to get this absolutely spot on. They changed the rears, they changed the fronts. New Pirellis go onto the cars. Ricciardo Fella and AB Sportsline are right at the end of the pit lane. And there comes Bortolotti past. Is he going to stay ahead of Thomas Preining? Yes, he will. So they are a net first, second and third once others come in and make their mandatory pit stops in this middle 20-minute period of the race. So out on cold tyres now. You've got Engine Guen out there who is yet to make his pit stop. You've got Tim Heinemann in the mix as well. So those 2 Porsches darting around those cars on cold tyres that have just come out of the pit lane. And look how close they get to the wall on the exit to turn 5. But Bortolotti continuing to have the advantage over Ricciardo Fella.
I'm here with Clement Schmidt. So Clemens, obviously you're furious. Maybe you can just talk us through how you see the situation.
Actually, there's not much to say. I was braking on the normal point and Frank just took me out. I mean, it should not happen, especially not under brand colleagues, but somehow I think he's a little bit crazy at the moment. Nürburgring, he crashed somebody out, completely out-braking himself, now the same. Maybe he should get some mental health.
So here we go at the battle we've got here between Jack Aitken and Kelvin van der Linde for 8th place on track at the moment. Jack Aitken, as the winner of the previous race yesterday, has to carry 20 kilograms of success ballast for finishing 3rd. 5 kilograms of success ballast for Kelvin van der Linde, but also a BOP change overnight means the Ferraris are 10 kilograms heavier, so it's an extra 30 kilograms that Jack Aitken is lugging around on his car. The Porsches have been relieved of 10 kilograms of weight, but as you can see from that slow-mo, some damage to the front of Jack Aitken's car. He's been battling away, but he's doing a good job here. But all that extra weight on the car is going to make it difficult to drive, as it's more wear and tear on the brakes, more wear and tear on the tyres in these super hot conditions. The track temperature, 39 degrees here. It's not quite as hot as yesterday, but it is not far away. So with everybody having made their pit stops now, Bortolotti leads. He was 2 seconds clear at one point. He's not anymore. Riccardo Fella is right on his tail. Now let's have a look at the onboard with Kelvin van der Linde, getting right onto the tail and a bit too close to the back of the Ferrari of Jack Aitken. So more damage to the Emil Frey Racing Ferrari. Jack Aitken was able to continue on. Just nipped at the left rear corner of the Ferrari. So 20 minutes to go, and it is as you were between the top two. Mirko Bortolotti leading. Now for finishing second yesterday, he's got an extra 10 kilograms of success ballast on the car. Riccardo Fella finished in the top 5, but not on the podium, so he has no success ballast on the Audi. So he's got a lighter car, that might come into play. And Luca Stoltz, who was one of the first to come in and pit, well, that's really worked out for Luca. He's ended up ahead of Thomas Preining. Got ahead of Thomas as Thomas came out of the pits on cold tyres, and he's now hunting down the top two. So Luca Stoltz, who got his first podium of the season at Zandvoort, looking for a second here, and he can become a real threat because he's not really considering championship points, unlike these two. Riccardo Fella continuing to keep the pressure up on the Italian. Less than 12 minutes to go. Over the line, nose to tail once again. Mirko Bortolotti is really being tested here by Riccardo Fella. Luca Stoltz is almost with them. Thomas Preining in 4th place might be about to lose the championship lead here to Mirko Bortolotti if it stays like this. But will it stay like this? Because Riccardo Fella, like Mirko Bortolotti, is looking for his second win of the season as well. Mirko Bortolotti still has the upper hand.
To go. Come on, we can do it.
So Riccardo Fella's race engineer willing him on. Come on, you can do it. But he's got to think about championship points as well. They are both clear of Thomas Preining, as I'm afraid a second retirement for Maximilian Powell this weekend in his home race, the Nürburgring race winner. Right, nose to tail for the lead of the race. Luca Stoltz trying to catch up. He had a torrid start to the season at Oschersleben, crashing testing, they had to rebuild the car, all sorts of technical problems. But he came back with a podium at Zandvoort, and he's had his best weekend so far this season. Luca Stoltz, a proven race winner. Can he get involved in this battle? Look how close they are. Almost trading paintwork here as Riccardo Fella once again gets the better exit from turns 11 and 12. They thunder up towards 250 kilometres an hour here as they go nose to tail over the line. Is he going to be able to outbrake the Italian on the way into turn 1? The Lamborghini looks pretty decent in a straight line. They brake from 5th gear down to 1st, down from 250 to just 55 kilometres an hour. It's a big braking zone, and big on the brakes is Mirko Bortolotti. Imagine the heat inside the cockpit of that car. Imagine the pressure from behind. He's also thinking not just about the win, but the championship situation here. Riccardo Fella, he's good coming out of turn 5. He keeps having a luck up the inside on the way into turn 6. Nothing doing yet. Mirko Bortolotti just digging in, gritting his teeth here. Both of these looking for a second win. One of them wins today. That'll be the first time we've had a 2-time race winner all season, and it's the 10th round of the championship. Nine races, 9 different winners so far. Luca Stoltz gets past them, it might be a 10th different race winner. And Thomas Preining is catching up as well in the 4th place Porsche. Well, you could barely get a piece of fruit between those two cars. Not quite contact, but it was close. And it is getting very stressful down in the SSR Performance Garage. They are looking for a win here for their man, Mirko Bortolotti. Look at this from Marco Wittmann down the inside of Kelvin van der Linde, but outbreaks himself, goes on the grass, and the BMW loses the position as Kelvin gets back ahead of him. So Wittmann trying to be 10th, but not quite succeeding. He's done well, though, from all the way back on to the 11th row of the grid. René Rast in his 100th DTM race is going to get points, but it's not going to be a weekend to remember for him. It's a replay of Marco Wittmann's attempted move. He's a late breaker as well, the 2-time champion. René Rast was right behind them. The BMW tucked to the grass. He couldn't quite get the car slowed down in time, so van der Linde in the Audi got the position back. Less than 3.5 minutes to go. Nose to tail for the lead of the race. Sparks fly and trail from the back of the race-leading Lamborghini. The SSR Performance driver pushing on here. Remember, SSR Performance only in their second season of DTM. It's their first with the Lamborghini. They've always run Porsches before. Only had a couple of days testing before the season started, Mirko was saying at the end of race 1. So when they were picking up top 6 finishes in the first couple of rounds of the championship, it was a real concerted effort. It's that building block that has given them this opportunity to now push for race wins and push for the championship lead. Mirko really complimentary about the work that the team has done. Ricardo Fella is giving it absolute full beat here, though. Lucas Stoltz has got the best seat in the house, watching it all go on from 3rd place. And look, he's been caught over the last couple of laps by Thomas Briding, so they all start to fight each other. Don't rule Thomas out of getting involved in it. He's almost there with them now in the background in his Porsche. There's a big gap back to his teammate at Manthey, Dennis Olsen, who's in 5th place, and Lucas Auer having another really solid weekend in 6th. Aitken 7th, Van der Linde, Wittmann and Rast rounding out the top 10 as we go to the last couple of minutes of this race. Tremendous drive, this really digging deep from Mirko Bortolotti, and in fairness, Ricardo Fella has never relented. He's kept the pressure up all the way through this race. It's all he can do, keep the pressure up, make Mirko push as hard as he can, try to force the mistake. Over the line they go once more. Less than 2 minutes for Mirko Bortolotti to hang on to this, to move into the championship lead with only 3 weekends to go after this one. The Saxon Ring next in 3 weeks' time, and then it's going to be the Red Bull Ring and Hockenheim to round out what's been an absolutely enthralling season of the championship so far. And look at the Audi really got on the brakes here. Amp Sportsline got their 30th podium at this circuit. 30 podiums at the Lausitzring for Amp Sportsline yesterday, with Kelvin van der Linde's 3rd place finish. They've had 5 wins as a team around this track. They've got a great heritage here. Motorsport director and former champion for Amp Sportsline, Martin Thompson, who's been a race winner here as well. They're on the edge of their seats. It is nose to tail. There is nothing in it. There's been nothing in it all the way through the race. He's destroyed that cup, but the final lap board is out. We're almost home and dry. Can he hang on for one more lap, Mirko Bortolotti? Is there any more opportunity for Ricardo Fella to find a way through? Lucas Stoltz almost with them now. He's just got to keep knocking on the door. You cannot imagine the pressure that Mirko Bortolotti is under right now. It's all been coming from Ricardo Fella, who's done everything right, but no opportunities have arisen. Will there be one at turn 6 for the final time? The Audi closes, have a look at the inside. But again, Mirko Bortolotti, the Italian, cool as ice in these roasting hot conditions, covers off the line, brakes late, covers off the line through turn 7. Almost there now. They watch on. Their job is done. Fingers crossed. And SSR Performance, Stefan Schlund's team, have had a terrific weekend. This would be the cherry on top if Mirko can get his win and become the first double winner of 2023. Here we go, he's almost there. I think he's edged away now from Ricardo Fella, although Ricardo will not give up. He closes up again on the way into turn 10. 2 corners to go. Bortolotti's got to get a good run coming out of the final turn. This is where the Audi is strong. And can he do it now as they accelerate up through the gears? I think Mirko Bortolotti is going to do it. The sparks fly once again. And Mirko Bortolotti wins round 10 of the DTM as he takes the checkered flag from Fella and Stoltz.
Bruder Mirko, congrats to your 2nd DTM victory. What a brilliant drive, mate.
Well, I'm not sure Mirko Bortolotti will ever have to work harder for a race win. How did he keep his concentration up? He wins from Fella and Stoltz. Preining comes home 4th. Olsen in 5th place with Auer in 6th. And yesterday's winner, Jack Aitken, caps off a successful weekend by coming home 7th in the Ferrari. There then the rest of the finishers. But it's into the shadow and the cool of the grandstands and into the winner's enclosure for Mirko Bortolotti. He's had a very quick slowing down lap because he cannot wait to get out of that car/oven. It must be unbearably hot in the car. No matter, he's out now and he's a race winner once again.
Ricardo was flying, he was super quick. He was basically on my bumper for the entire race, trying to get the tiniest chance, trying to get the win. And I knew if I have the smallest mistake can make a difference.
Was close. It would have been nice to get my 2nd win. now he has it, well deserved. I mean, they did a great job all weekend. You know, it's very risky to attack in like tight corners. It's always quite tight in DTM, and that's what we like. Of course, we want to collect all the points we can. It was a good weekend in that point of view, but yeah, we need to keep pushing and score bigger points.
Look at this physical and mental exhaustion for Mirko Bortolotti. He's left nothing out there.
I just wanted this win so bad, and I was ready to give it everything, and that's what we did, and so I'm proud for this result. And I also would like to say, you know, huge congrats to Ricardo for the way he managed to fight with me today, you know, really hard, but at the same time, never over the limit, and that's the way we want to race. And today, yeah, we had a better ending.
So a tremendous battle. Mirko Bortolotti was 5 points behind Thomas Preining at the start of the race. He's now 7 points ahead. He leads the championship. Preining second, and Ricardo Feller is also within striking distance. He now moves ahead of Sheldon van der Linde for third in the standings.
Of course, the last 2 race weekends, they were unbeatable. They won 3 out of the last 4 races, so I hope now we can turn the tables and strike back with 3 out of 4 race wins ourselves.
Well, the trophy is going straight to the top of the trophy cabinet, I would suspect, for Mirko Bortolotti. He had to dig deep. He did. He didn't put a foot wrong. It was a masterclass in defensive driving, and he walks away with not just the win, but the championship lead. Fine effort from Ricardo Feller as well. Well done to Lukas Stoltz on the podium. A great weekend of racing here at the Lausitzring. Make sure you join us next time at the Sachsenring.
What a spectacular race weekend we saw here at the Lausitzring. And in 3 weeks, we're going to be nearby here at the Sachsenring. And fact is, we haven't been there in over 20 years. So looking forward to that. See you then. Bye-bye.